The Law of Money, Chapter 3, The Red Envelope, the first lesson of wealth, blessing disguised as currency, why intention matters more than amount. I still remember the red of those envelopes, not a glossy red of modern packaging or advertising, but a deeper, sharper red, slightly faded, printed with gold pattern, worn thin by time. They smell of new paper mixed with incense smoke and candy fruit from Tết. That red for me was my very first memory of money. Not money to spend, but money to feel. I was very young then. We were a large family. My parents were not wealthy, yet Tết was always prepared with reverence and care. The altar was cleaned early in the morning. Ancestral incense rose quietly into the air, and the red envelopes were placed neatly in a small box near the altar. No one was allowed to touch them. The red envelopes did not appear casually. They were not handed out as rewards or incentives for good behavior. They came after New Year wishes, after a respectful bow, after a steady and gentle gaze of adults. Before receiving them, we were taught to stand straight, hold our hands together, speak our wishes clearly, not laugh, and not tear the envelope open immediately. Everything unfolded slowly, deliberately, like a ritual. At the time, I did not fully understand, but now, after walking through many seasons of life, I realized this was the first lesson about wealth I ever received, not through lectures, but through lived experience. Blessings are not measured in numbers. The amount inside those red envelopes was small. Sometimes it was only enough to buy a few pieces of candy, yet none of us were allowed to show disappointment. My father once said softly, but with great certainty, "This is not money to be compared. It is a blessing wrapped in paper." Each envelope carried a wish for peace, growth, good health, and a gentle year ahead. Money was only the carrier. What was truly being given was intention. Children, of course, are still children. I remember moments when younger siblings secretly open their envelopes and notice that they have less than someone else. A shadow crossed their faces, jealousies, hurt, even tears. My parents did not scold. Instead, they quietly gather all of the envelopes, place them on the table, and say, "If you look at money with envy, money will leave you. If you look at money with gratitude, money will stay." At that age, I did not fully grasp the meaning, but somehow those words took root deep within me. Money remembers how it is treated. As I grew older, I began to notice something strange yet consistent. Money does not respond to desperation, it responds to attitude. Those who constantly demand more, complain about lack, or resent what they have often struggle to make money. Meanwhile, those who respect even small amounts tend to experience steadier financial flow, even if they are not immediately wealthy. I believe that understanding began with red envelopes. Lizzie taught me that money does not arrive to validate my worth. It arrives as a wish, and a wish can only be received fully when the heart is open, not when the envelope is torn open. When a child frowns over a small amount, that joy begins a distorted relationship with money. When a child bows and gives thanks regardless for the amount, that joy steps into a current of blessing. Intention shapes the energy of money. Many people believe money is lifeless. I do not. Money carries the energy of both the giver and the receiver. A dollar given with kindness is different from a dollar given out of obligation. A dollar received with gratitude is different from the one received with greed. The red envelope makes this truth visible. No one gives receive to make a child rich. They give it to plant a seed of luck, harmony, and auspicious beginnings. But the intention is right. The amount becomes irrelevant. A thin envelope can carry deep energy. A thick envelope without heart can feel empty. Early cracks in our relationship with money. I also witnessed the opposite. In a large family, comparison is almost unavoidable. Even I sometimes look at my envelope and at someone else and silently wonder, why did I receive less? That moment, small as it was, mattered. It marked a beginning of a fracture of the relationship with money, not because of scarcity, but because of comparison. My parents understood this instinctively. They did not lecture us. Instead, they told stories of people who worked tirelessly yet remained poor because they always felt deprived, and of others who had little but lived in abundance because their hearts were never empty. I learned that money does not like being used as a measure of love, fairness, or personal value. When we use money to weigh these things, it grows heavy, and our relationship with it becomes strained. A quiet lesson that followed me through life. When I left my homeland and crossed the sea to begin life anew, I carried very little with me, but I clearly learned the lesson of those red envelopes. In my early years in America, I worked hard. Some of my income was very small. Had I diminished it, I might have lost hope quickly, but I did not. I remember, Lizzie, I remember that every small amount is a blessing for the next step. I respected every opportunity, every paycheck, every person who paid me my first waves, and gently money began to stay. Wealth begins with gratitude. Looking back now, I see that red envelopes did not teach me how to become rich. It taught me how not to repel money. Wealth does not begin with a large sums. It begins with the ability to receive with gratitude, respect, and understanding that money is part of the larger flow of blessing, not an object of competition. When I receive money with a right spirit, it becomes a companion. When we view money through fear and lack, it becomes a burden. Closing, open the envelope with the heart. The red envelope will eventually fade. The money inside will be spent, but the lesson remains. If you have ever wondered why money comes and goes, why you work so hard yet still feel deprived, ask yourself this: when was the last time you opened money with your heart? Lizzie is not only for children, it is a reminder for adults to relearn how to receive slowly, without comparison, without resentment, because money, like blessing itself, stays only with those who know how to honor it, even in its smallest forms.